So we started talking and hinting about this, the benefit beyond the fact that kids get to work with an artist. Can we talk a bit about the impact, the teaching impact? From your perspective, like what you might have learned, bringing artists in that maybe did something that you don't know how to do.
I think all of the programs that we had, the Artin, all of the things that we've brought in, either with our small term artist and was it artist?
Yeah.
Was it artist in residence?
Yep, artist on loan.
Program.
Artist on
on
loan.
loan.
Was the short term one?
Yes, the short term where we just for a couple of days, like
Yeah.
residents came and did stuff, or the Artins. Anytime we brought artists in, a lot of times it was something that I hadn't done before. We've done Raku and we
Or it
did,
doesn't work in a
silk
classroom just with
screening.
one single
Exactly.
teacher.
Well,
Right.
but a lot
Exactly.
of those I took and used in my classroom. They became skills and
Yeah.
that I now had, and I was able to incorporate some of those things into the classroom.
We
and
learned
was able to teach
along
my
with our students.
Right,
We learned
right. It was learning for
techniques
us
and things
also.
that we wouldn't be able to use.
Yeah.
Well, exactly, and sometimes, you know, we were able to do those things then year after year after year, and so it wasn't like it affected just one group of
Right.
kids or 1 year of kids, and I think that was a huge part of it, was being able then to incorporate that knowledge that we gained from those artists and build on it. In servicing in a small community like the schools are in Newaygo County, is really difficult because almost all of us teach in a single person department, whether it's one person at the high school or one person at the middle school, so you really can't learn from each other. And this allowed us to learn from the artist, but then we learned from other teachers how they were handling it with their kids and how their kids were learning and how maybe their kids were better than my kids because they did a different way of using that information.
Who was the artist that did silk screening and owned the diner, Rosie's Diner?
Oh,
Jerry
Jerry
Burda.
Oh my gosh, so Jerry Burda was I'm pretty sure that was my first Artin.
Okay.
And so I hadn't taken any printmaking classes. It was one of the few areas in college I didn't do anything with. And so to learn a silk screening technique in my first year and loving it so much, like I did that with 8th grade every year in middle school, and then at the high school, when I revamped the program, it became a printmaking class, not just silk screening, but he gave me a love for printmaking.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I did that with middle schoolers, and then I ended up taking classes at CCS in printmaking and working with one of my CCS professors came and did printmaking with us. I think we did monotypes
Yes.
one year,
Yeah.
and I can't remember his name either. I'm so bad at remembering names, but he came and worked with us. So, you know, by me taking a class in printmaking because Jerry Burda opened my eyes to that, then this professor came back and did an Artin from Detroit. He came here and did an Artin with us, and we got to learn from him. And so by the time I took over your position at the high school, I was able to start a printmaking class.
Yes.
And so for the last 19 years, we've had a printmaking class.
Yeah.
It's not something that I would have ever wanted to teach or felt comfortable teaching if it wasn't for.
Anybody else have an experience like that? Something that you learned at an
We
artist?
did Raku one time, right, with Kendra.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, which,
Yeah.
I remember taking a garbage can outside my school and putting stuff in it, and the principal's looking at me like, what are you doing?
How many times
Setting it on fire.
There's a fire in the building because all the smoke's coming out.
So you did it at Artin and then took that thing and did it at your school with your kids also. What about batiking? Didn't we had a batik thing one time
we
as
did.
an Artin. Did anyone do that in your classroom then?
I did
Chris
it
did a
often.
lot.
Still do it, right?
I think I did it a year ago.
And
Yeah.
I incorporated it with tie-dye.
I think the great thing too is that it has changed over time to be appropriate, you know, so that it isn't like you're doing types of art that you know are not right in the moment. A lot of times the artists you bring in are also kind of expressing their own creativity in the moment. So lots of times the themes and the subjects and things, you know, also are kind of moving subjects for kids to work in.
Right. So there's a lot of artists that have come through that have our kids have had a chance to work with, to see their work, to learn from them. I mean, a tremendous amount of people.
Did any of you ever have Don and Cheryl Benson in? Did we have them at the Artin ever? I know I brought them in for my
Jewelry making?
the artist on loan several times, but I don't know, because that's a whole family thing. You know, they're artists living in Grant, and their kids were involved in the program, and now their grandkids are involved in the program. And
What a lot of people don't realize is one of our very first Artin instructors was Bev Cassidy. And
Really?
she was an art teacher before becoming CEO of TrueNorth, and taught a pottery class here at Camp Newaygo for one of our Artins.
And some of our retired art teachers have come back as artists for the Artin. I know Brenda did
I did a silk screening one. And,
in recent years, right?
Yeah.
Thanks for you guys coming in today. I know everyone's busy. I appreciate you reminiscing with us about the Artists on Loan and the Artins and the importance of those programs that have had to your students and the impact on our community. Thanks for coming in.
thank you.
Great.